Hey guys, James MC Reviews here, and holy shit, 2022 is almost over. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and I'm sorry this video is a couple weeks late. I've had some other videos that I've had to get done that were higher priority, plus a bunch of finals work for school. But now it's time for the penultimate catch-up review of 2022, covering all the movies I saw in November and the first week of December. Glass Onion is the sequel to Knives Out, with everyone's favorite Star Wars director, Rian Johnson, returning to write and direct. It's been a minute since I've seen the first Knives Out, but I remember it being pretty decent. And this movie really makes me want to revisit that movie because it was a lot of fun. It's a sequel that doesn't really have any connecting threads from the first, aside from Daniel Craig as the detective, which means it also works as a standalone movie. Much like the first movie, it plays with the conventions of a typical murder mystery and subverts your expectations of what you think is going to happen. I did see the twist coming a lot clearer this time when the plot gets going, but the steps getting to that twist and the little details they drop here and there make it just as fun to watch. The cast is also great. Daniel Craig is of course a joy to watch in this role, and that stupid southern drawl wasn't as distracting this time around. The suspects this time around consist of Kathryn Hahn, Edward Norton, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, Leslie Odom Jr. All of them give great performances and are interesting characters. It's also a much tighter cast than the last time. I remember the first movie having an all-star cast, but a lot of them didn't get much to do. Having a smaller set of main characters means that everyone has a part to play, and everyone is important, which I really appreciated. The film also looks fantastic. The cinematography and the quirky set design complement each other really well. Honestly, the only other issue I had with the movie, other than the twist being a bit more obvious, were the three girls sitting next to me taking pictures on their phone with the flash on and talking the whole time. Other than that, it was a really good movie. If you get a chance to see it in theaters, definitely see it, but if not, still check it out when it drops on Netflix this December. 4 out of 5. The Banshee of Inisherin is directed by Martin McDonagh and is about two lifelong friends who reach an impasse when one of them abruptly ends their relationship, with alarming consequences for both of them. This movie left me very confused for most of it because I didn't know whether to laugh or cry during it. Like, on the one hand, you want to laugh because of how crazy Colin Farrell is playing it and how his character just can't take the hint. But on the other hand, you do feel kind of bad, not just for him because he feels owed an explanation for his friend ditching him, but you feel bad for the friend because he's clearly going through something and is handling it in the worst way possible. I found it emotionally draining, yet still entertaining. I thought the performances were all great, the cinematography looked fantastic, the island they shot on looks gorgeous. I also agree that the thick accents make the movie trickier to understand, but I was still following it okay. I definitely recommend checking it out. I just have a feeling you'll be sitting with it, piecing your feelings together for a few days. 4 out of 5. The Menu is directed by Mark Mylod and is about a group of upper-class foodies and celebrities taking part in a private meal from a celebrity chef that slowly turns into a dinner theater saw trap. I was getting trailers for this movie for weeks, and it looked like one of the dumbest things to come out this year. So why is it that about halfway through I was asking myself, why is this kind of awesome? It's honestly better than the trailers make it out to be. It joins the recent swath of fuck the 1% movies that have come out the past few years, but it has kind of a self-aware edge to it. It doesn't try to be super serious, and it's a genuinely funny time. It also isn't predictable. The trailer gives off a very Predator hunts prey type of feel, but that is not the direction the movie takes. It keeps you invested with its darkly funny story and genuinely engaging characters. When all these food snobs were introduced at the beginning, I was a bit worried that I would find them annoying or unlikable, but it is really fun seeing all their personalities, as well as watching their snobbery get thrown back in their faces with this weird group of staff led by Chef Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes is great in this movie. He's like Gordon Ramsay meets Jigsaw. He flip-flops between really subdued and completely unhinged without it feeling over the top or cartoony. I also, oddly enough, liked the message of the movie. It kind of felt like Ratatouille, but with murder. This year has been full of surprises in terms of movies, and this one is one of them. It's not a movie for everyone, but I'd say check it out. 3.5 out of 5. Bones and All is directed by Luca Guadagnino and is a coming-of-age road trip movie about two teenage cannibals who meet each other and start to form a connection. The trailers for this movie made me think it was going to be something like Wolf, a weird, over-the-top concept that was taken so far that it would at least be entertainingly bad. but it ended up just being kind of boring. I will say the movie did a good job at the body horror angle. It was very gross looking, and the sound design especially felt very graphic. It's just the romance and the drama stuff that didn't really work for me. I don't think seeing people bent over chewing on a dead person and then a scene or two later having them crying over the ethical dilemmas of eating people with families really fit all that well. It was a shifting of tones that didn't really work for me. Plus, I didn't really feel much for the main characters, which sucks because Taylor Russell and Timothy Chalamet give really great performances for the most part. I didn't think the movie was god-awful, but part of me kind of wishes it was, because at least I'd have more to say about it. Other than that, it was just kind of eh. 2.5 out of 5. Strange World is the newest film from Disney Animation, and it was pretty mediocre. Nothing bad, but nothing super memorable either. I'd like to point out that me and my girlfriend were the only ones in the theater when we went to see this, and we saw it on opening weekend. So either everyone already saw it on Thanksgiving, or this is on track to be one of the biggest bombs in Disney history. If the latter is the case, I can't say I don't see why. The trailers for this movie did nothing for me. It just looked like a generic Disney adventure movie. And that rings true for the movie itself. It seems to be doing every single Disney cliche with nothing new or interesting added. Actually, I take it back. There's a joke about a dead mom that was kind of funny, but that's about it. The characters are all uninteresting, except for maybe the three-legged dog. The voice actors are doing their best, but the script is doing them zero favors. Even the titular Strange World isn't all that impressive looking. I mean, the animation looks great, and there's a twist with what it is that I won't give away, but everything else in this subterranean world just looks like a cross between Pandora and Spore. Like I said, the movie wasn't awful, and I'd still say it's fine to watch with your kids, but with the exception of Turning Red, this has been a pretty weak year for Disney Animation. I'm sure this movie will make a killing on Disney Plus, because honestly, that's where it belongs. 2.5 out of 5, check it out if you want. Father Stu is a movie that came out all the way back in April that I wanted to see but never found the time to. Then, randomly, as I was perusing the AMC app looking for showtimes, I found that they were re-releasing it for a limited time. The catch being that they were going the Deadpool 2 route and releasing it as a PG-13 rather than an R. Now, unlike Deadpool, I haven't seen the original cut, so if there's any drastic changes aside from cutting out some of the curse words, I wouldn't know. Judging the movie on its own, though, it was pretty decent. It's definitely designed to be a crowd pleaser, and I'm sure it'll be up for some awards. The story feels very realistic, if a bit long and awkwardly paced. It's very emotional, and Mark Wahlberg gives a really solid performance. Like I said, I don't know how this version differs from the R-rated cut, if there's any difference at all, but I don't think anything was lost with it being a PG-13. If you missed the initial release and you're interested, check it out. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. I also watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, written and directed by James Gunn and shot during the filming of Guardians 3. This was a lot of fun. I love the Guardians movies, and I love James Gunn and his style, so when this was announced and I saw the trailers, I was like, bring it on. It's clear Gunn took heavy inspiration from the Star Wars Holiday Special, and you can see that at every turn. From the random celebrity cameos to the musical numbers, everything about this just screams cheesy holiday tie-in, and I love it. At its core, though, it does have a lot of heart, too, which is something that the Guardians movies excel at. There are several moments of Quill's childhood being brought up, and seeing how they're resolved, you can't help but get all warm and fuzzy inside. There's also some interesting revelations that I won't spoil, but I'm curious to see how they'll get developed upon. The special isn't a masterpiece, but it doesn't really need to be. It's just a fun, heartfelt holiday romp that only exists to make me want Guardians 3 even more. 4 out of 5, definitely worth a watch. Speaking of Christmas, since this video bleeds into December, I also watched Violent Night. This is the latest production from 87 North, the guys who brought us Nobody and Bullet Train, and is about a vicious, ass-kicking Santa played by David Harbour protecting a family from a group of criminals. If you see the trailers for this movie, then you kind of know what to expect. I went into this looking for a dumb, fun time, and that's exactly what I got. The dialogue is beautifully cheesy, the action scenes are balls to the wall awesome, and there are some really brutal and creative kills in this. As dumb as it sounds, I also didn't expect to feel the heart of this movie all that much, but they did a good job. The connection Santa has with this little girl is sweet, and the way they help each other through their problems is really cool. The acting is also enjoyably hammy. David Harbour is now one of the top 10 Santas, and I'd love to see more of him. But the scene stealer has to go to John Leguizamo. He is radiating Joe Pesci energy, and he is chewing all the scenery. Like I said, if you see the trailer and think, that looks like fun, go check it out, because I certainly enjoyed it. I'd also like to mention that this family brought their 7 or 8-year-old daughters to the movie with them, to this R-rated Killer Santa movie. I mean, they weren't being disruptive or misbehaving or anything, I just thought it was funny. Like, fuck Strange World, this is the feel-good family movie to see this holiday season. But yeah, check this movie out, it was a lot of fun. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. And that does it for this month's Ketchup review. Let me know in the comments what you watched this month, check out my TV logs for Infinity Train and Blockbuster, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon.